Hello again, gentlemen. Welcome to the first day of Thatch's Thatch Can style wrestling.
There's a lot of glare coming off that dome of yours, squirrel nut!
What does WrestleMania mean to Brock Lesnar? It's a day that I get to show up, kick somebody's ass, and get paid to do so.
Crying out loud, we can't use a thing with you swearing like that.
I don't give a damn. I came up here for a purpose to prove some son of a bitch and thing. And I'll tell you what I came to prove, that Lawler didn't have the guts.
I'm back. And I'm back for you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm back for me too.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to We Don't Know Wrestling. And this week, we have an episode of the Desert Island Comp series. This week, I am joined by Dan Rice, friend of the pod. Dan, how are you doing?
Doing great. Yourself?
I am doing well. It is 8:10 on a Sunday evening here. Are you out of the Cleveland area?
Oh, formally.
Formerly.
Yeah.
Where are you at now?
I'm in southern Ohio, pretty much right where West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky all meet.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah,
You're a man of many states, more or less.
Yeah. I'm about 6 minutes from West Virginia and 15 from Kentucky.
That's ridiculous. States shouldn't be that way. That's what I've decided. Any hoozles. We're going to start this episode like we start most Desert Island Comps, and I want to kind of ask, hey, how'd you get into this whole rigmarole that is professional wrestling, being a fan?
I mean, it's like a pretty familiar story. I feel like most of us, we don't choose this lifestyle. We're born into it.
That's fair.
I don't really remember like making a conscious choice to watch it. I remember The Undertaker. Like that is like I have a visceral memory of The Undertaker as like my first. Oh, like I'm where my family's watching wrestling and I care about this. And then my mom, I grew up with a single mom, and like so she would do extra stuff that like if she hated it, like she felt like she had to go like hard into it, like to be like, oh, you know, you don't have a dad, but we're doing boy stuff. So like I wanted to go to wrestling, so she made sure I went to wrestling shows, and anytime WWE was in town, we would go. And then sweet. I simply got into my go-to story is that she always hated Undertaker and Kane because she would bring like novels and try to read during the shows. So anyone that has their power go out or the lights go out during entrance, she's not a fan.
That's amazing.
She'd slam her book down and look up and be like, okay, this stuff.
Oh, we're here again.
Yeah, we're doing this again.
Isn't it once enough?
Yeah, and then, you know, got in was watching WWF and WCW, and then got in the ECW, and then that takes me to Japan and tape trading, and just never stops.
Yeah, I like to say that every comp seems to tell a story. And your story does not include a lot of formative stuff, it seems.
I was thinking that. I was looking at it, and like it's mostly the peak of my fandom. It's like mostly like when I was having the most fun being a wrestling fan. So 03 to 07, like that is, you know, my high school years. And you know, like I said, I got into tape trading. I remember the first time I had to convince my mom, like, for my birthday, what you need to do is fill out a money order and mail it in the mail to this guy.
Some real sicko shit, really.
Yeah. And she's like, what? No, trust me. He has good reviews. He's not on the bad trader list. He'll send me stuff. Everyone's
doing it.
Yeah.
This is not weird.
VHSs show up in the mail, and I'm watching, you know, Ring of Honor or Noah or, you know,
whatever is the milieu of the month.
Yeah, whatever I choose I need at that month, and I order and I get. But yeah, I felt weird on making my list because I'm looking at my list and I'm like, there is no WWF, there is no WCW, and I have fond memories. Obviously I like a lot of stuff from the 90s of WWF and WCW. It's just when I had to get it down to 10 is so hard. Nothing felt like I had to be on there.
I very much get that. Well, with that, how about we just get into it?
All right, let's do it. And I also feel like some of my list, like, I don't know, like I probably should have, All Japan, 6'3", 95, whatever. I should have Ring of Honor, CZW Cage of Death, but it just feels like that's been covered.
You want something a little unique, a little fresh.
Yeah. Also feels like Ring of Honor, CZW Cage of Death match. I could probably just close my eyes and play it in my head.
You don't need to take that with you.
I don't even.
You've got it in your heart at all times.
Got it right there. Yeah. But how do you want to get started on the list?
Right now, they're just chopping each other. Oh, indeed, you're going to see forearms, you're going to see elbows, you're going to see spinning back fists. These two are some of the hardest strikers in professional wrestling. They bring it to you anytime they swing. There's no accidents, there's no wasted motion, no wasted energy.
Oh no, all energy, all on hatred.
And right now, it is a battle of who's going to blink first, and it's Kingston who breaks the battle, and there's that boot in the corner, but that's exactly what I'm talking about! Hero fires right back!
All right, we'll get started with your first matchup from AIW's Charge It to the Underhills, taking place from Turner Hall, December 26, 2014. It is Eddie Kingston versus Chris Hero. Dan, why did this match make your list?
Well, this is one of, I think, 3 matches on my list that I was there for. Because I feel like you're on a desert island. You want to remembering times when you weren't. You want to remember times when you weren't trapped on this island. So I'm going to have a couple AIW matches because that's the local Cleveland promotion. That's where I spent, when I was up there, where I spent a lot of my Friday nights. And on top of that, this is probably the best match I've ever seen live.
That's a tall order.
Yeah. This is the one. This is Hero's first match with Eddie since Hero left WWE, and they were ready for it. You could tell they were excited about having this match.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time today.
Oh, that's exciting
for this. It's a humdinger.
Ethan Page did one of his Egos Amigos or whatever with Eddie Kingston and tells the story of being there for this match, and before the match they're in each other's face in the backstage area, and then they just slap each other once before they go through the curtain, and that feels like that sets the stage for what this match is. Like, they beat the crap out of each other.
That's a great bit.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
Like, I don't know if they're working the boys or they're working themselves or what, but it's awesome.
Yeah, 2 dudes with obvious history, not great history, and it seemed like it works by itself, but also works in kind of the context of the history of these 2 men. And it's very interesting seeing this match now with how Eddie's now being treated in 2022.
Definitely. I mean, Eddie's been ready for the showcase he's been given for years, so it's awesome to see him finally getting. I just love it because it starts out, and they're right in each other's face. Well, even before that, Dave the Potato, like the crappy AIW referee, asks them if they're ready, and Kingston's first words are "fuck off," and then they get right in each other's face, and it's like, that is the match.
Yeah, it was into it from the very get-go.
Yeah.
And it definitely felt like there's some pent-up emotions coming into it, pent-up aggression ready to be dealt out on one another. And these are 2, just masters at doing it. And knowing that, in 2014, Eddie was great. Eddie was been great. But there's been so many people who have been not a fan or have doubted the man or put him down to some regard.
It's so crazy to me because Eddie I don't know how you don't see it. He's an all-time seller. I took my friend Jess to see Chikara when they were in Cleveland, and it was Eddie versus Delirious, I believe. And I will always remember, she's not a pro wrestling fan, and she was concerned for Eddie Kingston. She was like, but his knees really hurt. Like, I couldn't convince her otherwise. She left that building going, well, that guy really hurt his knee during that match. Like, someone should help.
Sucks.
And I mean, he may have, but he is just that good of a seller. Like, you believe everything.
Yeah, he absolutely makes it feel real. Brings that extra something to things that you don't get from other wrestlers, and grounds it in a sense that's hard to explain.
There's another point. I think they're in the corner, and Kingston is slapping Hero, and he says, this is not exact quote because I haven't watched it as recently as today, but he says, "Tell me what they taught you. Tell me what Triple H taught you," and is slapping him repeatedly in the face.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a perfect storm coming off that WWE run that didn't go great. It's very funny that he goes back eventually. And now we're in 2022, and that man is the one that isn't wrestling anymore.
Yeah, you would not have thought that this is where they would both be in their careers 8 years ago.
Oh, for sure. And especially since Eddie very publicly saying, hey, I don't know. I'm planning on retiring at this point because I don't know how long I can keep this going without being able to like commit to food on the table for me and my family. And now he's not just on a national stage, he's on national television every single week in front of millions of people. It's incredible.
I mean, if you told me they were going to put the strap on him, you told me they were going to make him the world champion, I would believe you. I don't personally think it's going to go in that direction. I wish it would, but it's not outlandish to think about.
No, I would say no matter what, Eddie never touches a belt in AEW. Will's gotten a good finale to that man's career.
Yeah, agreed.
So, is there anything else you want to kind of touch on in this match? Obviously, Humdinger, like I said, AIW home promotion. Is there anything else here that really kind of stuck out with you?
I think that I would hate the finish done by 99% of professional wrestlers in the world. The rolling elbow, Saito suplex, sliding D finish would feel like overkill done by like anybody else. But in this match, it's like, that's the perfect ending. It worked.
Yeah, it made sense here. And that's kind of one of those great wrestling finishes when it really shouldn't work in most cases, but just because of the two individuals and the groundwork they lay, there we go.
Yeah. And it's on AIW's YouTube, and everyone should watch it. I mean, best AIW match, best live match I've ever seen. Just go see it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I have never been a big AIW guy. For the most part, that stuff tends to let me down more than meet my expectations. Even when I think, oh, that match looks rad as hell heck. But this one definitely lived up to the billing. And
we could go all the way back to my first Wazimcast. I believe that I was breaking down J-Lit, their yearly tournament. And I think I remember you saying, everything you're saying sounds great. I will not enjoy it as much as you're saying.
Yep. 1,000%. And
like that was your exact attitude to everything. You're like, that sounds great. It won't work.
Yeah. And then he just announced Alec Price for J-Lit 2022. So that's another guy I do not enjoy. All right. There we go. But they're going to be on IWTV. So, probably going to watch it. It'll be a good time. Are you ready for match number 2?
Yeah. Let's do it. It's Canis Lupus versus Trauma, number 1, April 19th, 2016. Mask versus mask match.
This was something else. This was a match that just seemed like it cracked through in a way that most Lucha matches haven't.
Yeah, and that another one is I do like Lucha, and it was tough to only have one. I mean, I thought there was a rule to only have one, but I needed to fit some on, and I thought about, it probably should have been a trios match. It probably should have been Park versus Rush, but the match that, like, when I close my eyes, the match that's stuck in my mind is this match. Like it's a horror movie. And there are stills from this match that when I close my eyes, I see it. And like I just have to keep. I had to be in my top 10.
Yeah, I totally understand. It was a match that was getting match of the year buzz. It's one of my favorite matches of that year. I think it was probably my match of the year if I look back at, the sheets. But yeah, it's a lot to love about Lucha period. It has all of the emotion, the blood, the guts that you were hoping for off a Lucha Puestos match. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the first two falls, it sets everything up perfectly. It's what you want from the first two falls, but it's that third fall where there's just blood everywhere. They're throwing the plastic chairs at each other. That is exactly what I want from a mass versus mass match. Where this mass means everything to them, and they're putting it all on the line.
And I don't have science to back this up, but any match, period, lucha or otherwise, that includes a neck brace in the middle of the match, or during the course of the theatrics, rather, that's a win in my book.
Oh, it's perfect. Then the doctor putting the neck brace on him with the white coat gets thrown into the puddle of blood by Canis, and it's perfect.
Yeah, there is so much energy in this building, and I love the IWRG building just because it's a bit smaller, it's a bit more intimate, and it is one of those arenas where the geography feels so plainly laid out. Because CML dominating what I consider the great venues in Mexico, you don't get lots of lucha brawls in these iconic venues or these places that feel very distinct like you do here.
Definitely. And then you got the post-match stuff where after Trauma wins, the hero conquers all. It's almost like even though they just killed each other, that all goes away because there's like the respect of what they've both been through. Because Trauma is instantly like almost consoling him, and he can't get his own mask off. His girlfriend takes it off. He proposes to his girlfriend. It's like it's of course that's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, it's like a great boxing match or whatnot, where at some level, even with all the animosity that comes in it, the steam is being let out as you go because you're just going through it with this other individual to such a degree that
That's the only person who can understand what you've both been through.
Exactly. How can you truly hate this person that you've been through so much that no one else can gather, essentially? Yeah.
No. And that, I mean, I'm far from a lucha historian or a lucha expert. I love it.
Did you say luchahistorian?
It's related to the Luchasaurus.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. But this was the one for me. I guess technically I have a little bit of a lucha match later on in the list, but not really.
No, I'm not counting it, so it's fine. It's also wouldn't have guessed in a million years, if I'm being quite frank.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Now,
so
do you have anything else you'd like to add to number 2?
I don't think so. This one's also on YouTube, and everyone should watch it. And don't let small children watch it. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's haunting.
And in general, don't let small children watch wrestling. But
don't let them become fans. Period. It's
if
not
you can stop
good
it,
for them. Exactly. If you can stop it, do so. It's for them.
No, I think that's all I have to say about this one.
All right, cool.
Again, trying to get back to his feet. For the back heel trip again is Danielson as he hangs on to the cravat. Again is refusing to go down though, but gets caught with a European uppercut that rocks the challenger.
Measures him and connects with yet another. Again, back to the cravat goes Danielson. Nigel, though, takes him down, but Danielson again, relentless.
Match number 3 from ROH Weekend of Champions, Night 2, April 29th, 2006. Another match from Cleveland, Ohio. It is Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. Why did this match make your Desert Island Comp?
Bryan Danielson is the greatest wrestler of all time and my favorite wrestler of all time. So he's got to be represented on the list. And if it wasn't for the Kingston Hero match, this would probably be the best match I've ever seen live. It was Bryan was the Ring of Honor World Champion. Nigel is the Pure Champion. And I've always had the soft spot for the Pure rules. I think maybe they're stupid, but I love a lot of stupid things. And this is, both titles are on the line. It's under Pure rules. And Nigel is a sneaky Ohio guy. I mean, he's British, but at this point, before this match, he's probably had, I'm going to go ahead and say 75 matches in Ohio. Like, he was in HWA. He was in Cleveland for Cleveland All Pro Wrestling. I mean, the Ring of Honor shows, he was already kind of prominent on the Dayton shows and the Cleveland shows. And then Bryan's Bryan. So this is a big match. And it lived up to it. It was amazing. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to like the unified match better or any of their subsequent matches better, but I believe this is their first match, their first singles match. And it was two of the very, very best. Bryan already probably the best in the world or one of the best in the world, and Nigel on his way there.
Hey, this is the third variation of Nigel versus Bryan that has made it onto a Desert Island Comp. It's the most chosen matchup that isn't the same matchup of any Desert Island Comp. So that's very interesting. Obviously,
you go to any island anywhere in the world, it's going to be Bryan versus Nigel.
I said anyone anywhere. They're taking a Bryan versus Nigel match. Bunch of freaks.
It starts out and Bryan is better. Bryan is slotted higher than Nigel. It's not worked equal. And Nigel has to use all the little Pure rules where he makes Bryan punch him so Bryan loses a rope break and things like that. And then it goes all the way to the finish, which is a count-out finish, which I don't know. I mean, I was 06. I was a 17-year-old kid. I bought that dusty finish. I thought Nigel won the world title, which doesn't make sense because the world title doesn't change hands on count-out rules, but the Pure title does. But I thought I just saw a title change. I jumped out of my seat, was screaming. It just all worked for me.
I love Pure title rules. I love any kind of rule set that you can get weird with that isn't like a hardcore gimmick. So anything that involves rope breaks and like UWFI rules, love it. Anything that feels like it imposes some sort of, I won't say limitation, but added thing to pay attention to, I'm all about.
And it was the perfect way to, they would eventually through their matches, Nigel would become an equal. But it wouldn't have made sense for Nigel to start on Bryan's level. But Nigel's done all these Pure matches. Nigel knows these rules better than Bryan, and that makes sense.
Yeah, allowing specialists to be able to gain an advantage in their realm of expertise. It makes sense. It works. It adds a little extra flavor to these sorts of matches. Like when you get like a more traditional technical wrestler going in there against a deathmatch guy in a more deathmatch setting. Like, they shouldn't probably win 99 times out of 100 the deathmatch guy in a more straight up match, but when you add in the extra layer, well, guess what? They're up against it. So it's always interesting to see how they can play that out. Obviously, we haven't seen a lot of Pure wrestling rule stuff incorporated in that way in the current ROH. Maybe Tony's bringing it back. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for it. I think that it's they're as simple as they are. I mean, it seems complicated, and sometimes they're not good at explaining them, but they work to make matches work. And when you're doing with Nigel and Bryan, I mean, it's gonna work. They can make any rules work.
That's true. So between now, we can have a Champions Night 2. Unified and 6th anniversary, we're almost getting them all. We're going to collect them all eventually, I think. Someone's just going to have a new favorite Nigel versus Bryan match that I would not have guessed.
And I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm not going to, they're all amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you got the added benefit of being at this one, but someone that picked Unified was also at Unified, so I guess that goes for that one as well. If you're at a Bryan versus Nigel match, you probably had a experience that feels like it's left an impact on certain individuals who are there for it.
I guess this will become a theme too, is I took a fan who wasn't really a wrestling fan, and then it changes each time because then they're still not wrestling fans. But that was the only real match that night. I remember it was my friend Guillermo, and he bought a program that had a picture of Taylor Wilde. I don't remember what else she went by on it.
Amazing.
Because he was excited by that. And then he liked this match. Nothing else he cared about. He didn't want to like this match. He got pulled into it.
Damn.
The rest of the time, he was just like, he was basically, I'll go out with my buddy on a Saturday night, we'll see what this thing is. And it was, indie wrestling for a guy who doesn't even like WWE is weird. And then,
cup of
but
tea.
I got it. Yeah, it got him.
Well, at least this one got him. Good thing
Yeah.
it didn't bring him into being a wrestling fan, though. That would have been hateful.
I would never do that to him.
Well, thank you. I'm glad.
Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, look what a shot!
I guess he wanted a necktie.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, nice chick
I
shot.
tell you what, I've heard of Bubbly Love before, but that's something.
Well, there's always that sibling rivalry. Because Jay says he's better, Mark says he's better. I have a question. Are you on the top row? Send it up to the top. Oh my God! Nice shooting star press.
All right. Let's move on to match number 4, taking place in Delmar, Delaware, June 25th, 2005. It is Jay Briscoe versus Mark Briscoe. Dan, why did you put this match under Desert Island Comp?
This is a match that is so fun and so insane, and it does get talked about, but not enough. It's an outdoor show. I don't know if there's 100 people there. And it's a surprise match. The Briscoes have been out of wrestling for a year. There's terrible live commentary. And then Jay and Mark Briscoe just come out and beat the crap out of each other. I don't know if there's some sort of story about why they're... I mean, I think the announcer jokes that they're fighting over a girl they met at the bar last night or something. But they come out... I think Jay is wearing like jorts and Mark's in like basketball shorts maybe. And they just punch and slap each other immediately. Just a rough tie up, and then I think they start punching and slapping each other as hard as possible. And then they go on the outside, and then they both lose their mind. Mark hits Jay with a chair harder than you should hit someone you hate, much less your brother. And then he just rolls in the ring and hits a shooting star press to the outside.
Yeah, the match is bananas from beginning to start.
Jay stands up from that and hits Mark 6 times in the head with a chair. Maybe 7 times. I don't know. Over and over again. His brother.
Yeah, there's no brotherly love here.
No.
It definitely feels like, at times, Jay's big brothering him.
Oh, yeah, there's some of that.
And it is one of the stiffest matches you're going to see, period. They're just going to the wall to crush each other. It works as something that's very unique and very eye-catching, like, oh, holy shit, what the fuck is this? As well as, oh, hell yeah, they're just ripping into each other, let's go. So you gotta love it both ways.
I mean, I have a brother, so I'm on this desert island. I miss my brother. Pop this in. Reminds me that big brothers can always beat up little brothers.
Exactly.
It's science.
That's how it works.
I believe at one point, it might have been after this chair shots where Jay just repeatedly hits his brother in the head with a chair, the announcer says like, "Let's give it up for Jay and Mark," and then the crowd does like weird applause for just seeing a man get brain damage.
It's wild that after this match, these two become one of the greatest tag teams of all time. It just doesn't seem like Mark would have much of a career after this one.
Well, if that was the story, because like I said, they had been out of wrestling. I think Mark got in a car accident, maybe, or one of them was in a car accident and they didn't want to work without each other. Or if they had disappeared, come back for this match, and then disappeared again, that wouldn't be that strange. You'd be like, oh yeah, they thought about coming back, but then Jay killed Mark.
Yeah, and you absolutely this match would be a footnote. We wouldn't really talk about it all that much, even if it was this batshit insane thing.
But yeah, like I said, instead they come back. I mean, I think they come back to maybe JAPW and then Ring of Honor, and they're just the best tag team in the world.
It's wild. It's wild. It's a match that chair shot sequence you talked about is out there. He really just goes all the way with it repeatedly. Mark lost a little bit that day. It's just one. It's so violent. Oh my goodness!
It does not work with 2022 eyes. I'll tell you that much.
No, they should. No,
Twitter,
it should work. It should work.
It should, but Twitter would not approve. Twitter would not approve.
I don't know why this match is not taking place at GCW every single week, since they have a show every single week. Someone's got to start just going to it. Like, let's just smack this dude in the head with a chair repeatedly.
And then some other dudes will be talking about it a decade from now on a podcast.
And they'll just say, hey, that was sick. That'll be it. No, I don't have much more to add other than to say,
there's really not much to add. It's not a long match. It's just two brothers beat the crap out of each other. And I love this match. And I love my brother. So I'm taking it to Desert Island.
Makes sense. I love it. All right. Moving on to match number 5 from New Japan Pro Wrestling, taking place at Kobe World Hall, October 20th, 1996. It is the Great Muta versus Jushin Thunder Liger. Dan, why did this match make your Desert Island comp? Dan, you there? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. I heard you introduce the match. Should we just go into it?
Yeah, let's just dig into it.
All right. This match is, I remember, one of the first matches that I got from Japan in the tape trade. I remember I started with all the obvious stuff, like the King of the Deathmatch stuff and Super J Cup, and then I already knew about Muta and I already knew about Liger, so I got this. And when I want to describe it as a cinematic match, but not in the way that that term now means. But it is like a movie. I mean, Liger comes out and he's dressed in white. I mean, couldn't be less subtle. There's the good guy dressed in white, and then the bad guy comes out dressed in black with a skull mask on and a dragon on his shoulders. And that's just the entrances, and you're like, here we go. And it's really good. Liger's using his quick Liger offense to try to one-up on Muta. Muta takes control, and it's all pretty much building to Muta being a prick and ripping Liger's mask. And then I don't know how to pronounce it, but like Heishin Liger comes out, like he's got the paint on underneath, and He's got the body paint on, and he rips the top of his outfit off, and he just goes insane and starts trying to murder the Great Muta. And I don't know, I think that everyone should watch it. It has, I mean, it's, you know, it has a feeling where it's the dark lights, the spotlight when they go out of the ring, both guys just being maniacs that night.
I have not seen the match. I feel like I should be honest with you. I've never seen the match. You're saying I should watch this.
You should track this down. I mean, it's probably 15 minutes, if that. Like I said, it starts out Muta kind of bullying him because Muta's the heavyweight and Liger's the junior heavyweight. And Muta's being awesome. There's a spot that I really like. It's so small and not subtle, but where he's trying to set up a table on the outside, like leaning against the corner. But he's already, I think he did a pile driver on it in this 15-minute match. So it's already bent or something. And it starts to fall down. And as it's falling, he slaps it to set it back up. And it starts to fall again. So he grabs it and just whips it full force at Liger. And speaking of GCW, I see that and I go, why can't guys just do that? Instead of spending 14 minutes setting up a table spot, Muta tried his best. Table wouldn't work as a table. So he's like, I'm just going to hit him with it.
It's now what? This is now in my bag.
And then when Liger comes out and Liger's on offense, he's got a spike and he's trying to kill the Great Muta. You got to see this, Sam. You got to watch it. It's so good.
No, it's not. Did you say this is one of the first matches you received on Tape Trader, or was it the first?
No, one of the first. I couldn't tell you because, like I said, I know I had some order Super J Cup and the King of the Death matches were like some of the first two I got. It's kind of boring, kind of what you're supposed to get.
Yeah, you know the usuals, the classics.
Yeah. But then I started going through the list, and I know Muta and I know Liger, so I'm like, I circled it, and I was like, give me this. Like I said, Mom, send the money order to this guy. He's gonna send me a tape where two guys try to stab each other with a spike. It's worth it.
She said, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
No, there's a certain level of pageantry with these two individuals that is not always the case with professional wrestling in general, where it doesn't feel, where there's not pageantry and it's not corny. It feels like those two things go hand in hand a little too often.
No, these two are stars. I mean, you have the old stereotype of the quiet Japanese wrestling crowd. That's not this. People are buzzing, people are yelling, people are screaming the whole time. It's amazing. I think it's on Daily Motion. You'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Billy as I was perusing for this episode to get things all lined up. So I'll have to put it on my to watch list. I've got some things to work through on my docket.
Yeah, I would say if you're listing anything like my list, you'll get to it in 2024.
Yeah. Greatest wrestler ever, taking place in 2026. I just got to get to everything before then.
I mean, it's gonna help. It's gonna help Liger's candidacy. Muta's too, but I don't know. Muta's got way too much crap.
Muta's got a lot going on.
There's a lot of bad Muta. I don't think there's a lot of bad Liger, but
Muta's a busy man.
Yeah,
making moves, making money, just breaking his own ankles. All right.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about that. I feel like I described it maybe too poorly. Maybe I was too chaotic, but the match is chaotic, and that's what I got to get across.
I love a little chaos.
But cooler heads prevail. And there's a European forearm that Jigsaw down.
Uppercut right there to the knee. The meniscus area, I believe. I'm not a physician assistant, but
he could.
Giant swing with only the knee being torn.
Going right
not to let him go, but to put him down so he can inflict more punishment.
All right, moving on to match number 6. A match that I adore is from Chikara's Hiding in Plain Sight from September 13th, 2009. It is Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli versus Jigsaw and Mike Quackenbush. Dan, why did this match make your Desert Island comp?
This match made my comp because I'm a big Chikara guy, sadly, now. But, I was super into Chikara. And I had to pick a match to represent Chikara. And I also love Bryan Danielson, so I'm like, let's just kill two birds, one stone. This match is one of the best in Chikara history. And all 4 of these guys are great, and they're all on fire in this match. So it just seemed like an obvious choice. It's mostly, the highlight is it's Danielson and Claudio just breaking Jigsaw in pieces. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
I see what you did there.
But they have so many unique ways to just attack his leg. And it's just two amazing pro wrestlers at the top of their craft. And you get the Danielson quack stuff that you want to get. At the time, that was always, I know they had a bunch of matches in IWA and stuff, but anytime those two would get in the ring together was great.
Yeah, Chikara was a big part of my wrestling fandom. That was definitely not just a hot promotion, but felt like a very different community than a lot of indies out there. Obviously, that promotion and owner have been tainted to an extent where nothing's capturing that vibe again, frankly. And that's unfortunate, though. Him and cronies should not be welcome back into this sphere. That's for sure. But
no, and if someone didn't want to watch this match because of Quack, I completely understand.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this match rules, and it makes me excited for Danielson and Claudio as a potential tag team in the current wrestling landscape. It makes me sad that we never saw Jigsaw really get a proper run anywhere. It's always that, he has that one great kind of...
Is it Sunday Dutt match?
Yeah, it's the great little TNA Rubik's stint thing, but then it goes nowhere for some reason, and it seems like, wow, you rarely get to see like the opportunity for a wrestling promotion, maybe not to be a star, but to get someone that would immediately be a hit with the crowd in just that window close. You don't get to see it in real time, usually like that.
Exactly. That's a big part of a lot of Chikara's history is just great wrestlers from Chikara never catching on anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollow Wicked, I mean, everyone always cites him as such a great and how great he was in the ring and part of so many great programs, and he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, the fact that he never got to do anything of real substance is going to be a huge bummer. Like, that's like the moment is gone for those guys. And that's just very unfortunate. I think the biggest part about this match, and I'm going to spoil it because it rocks so hard, is Claudio doing the single leg big swing on Jigsaw.
Oh, yeah.
When you say breaking Jigsaw into pieces, that's it. That's just like, holy guacamole. That's gotta be achy after that one.
It's really funny because, I don't know, a lot of Claudio stuff in WWE's time when I didn't watch WWE, but like you watch this match and then you watch him in AEW and it's like he hasn't lost a beat. Like he's still right there.
Like, he still absolutely knows how to do all the things that we've seen him do in the past. And he didn't just unlearn it over the course of over a decade. That's awesome. That's the dream. It didn't get beat out of him.
And like you said, hopefully Danielson gets back in there and we see a lot of stuff with him.
Yeah, I know that the Mox tag with Brian was kind of the big lead there, but it just would feel unfortunate if we didn't get these two really plying their craft as we get to see in this one for sure. And yeah, that's that. That's match number 6, unless you have anything else you'd like to add.
No, like I said, that's just like Chikara. Like I said, this is not a lot of my formative years. This is my peak of being a pro wrestling fan and doing the most in pro wrestling and seeing the most pro wrestling. And Chikara was a big part of that, so I had to have him on the list.
Absolutely. Totally get it. They would absolutely have to have a presence on mine as
J-Train, but right now you got Trent Ashton taking it to Homicide, And not only is he taking it to Homicide, he's mocking Homicide. Look at what Trent Acid's wearing. And this is a fight without honor. No code of honor in this one. And Ray, I can't believe the action that we have going on so far, as now Homicide fighting back on Trent Acid.
What a vendetta we have here in the Murphy Rec Center as Trent Acid and Homicide are taking to the streets. Right here, look at him!
All right, match number 7, a match that I watched for the first time today. It is from ROH's Wrestle Rave 2003, taking place at the Murphy Rec Center. It is Homicide versus Trent Acid. Dan, why did this match make your Desert Island comp?
Well, again, Ring of Honor is a big part of my fandom, and this has a lot in common with that Jay and Mark match. Homicide and Trent Acid tried to kill each other here. Homicide and Trent Acid had this weird feud that kind of spanned a bunch of promotions. Like it took place in CZW and JAPW and Ring of Honor almost simultaneously. And I don't know if it was because Trent Acid unfortunately went down the path he went down and passed away, or maybe it's because at the same time as Homicide Carino, but this feud just got forgotten. And I legitimately think this is one of the best matches in Ring of Honor history.
You think this match is one of the best in Ring of Honor history?
Yeah, this match, and it's basically forgotten about. It's not really talked about.
No, like this is not a match that was on my top of Ring of Honor watch list here.
No, and I mean, like I said, like everyone would tell you to watch Homicide Carino, and you should. They're great matches, but these matches are great. I mean, it starts out almost immediately. That goes to the outside, and Trent Acid does an acai moonsault and just lands directly on his shins, it seems like.
Oh, yes.
And it doesn't get less crazy than that. Like, it doesn't slow down.
It is wild from sort of beginning to start. Like you said, very similar in a lot of ways to Jay Briscoe versus Mark Briscoe. Except maybe
that I just like that try to kill each other.
Yes. This may be a little bit more plundery, but it works.
Yeah. The big spot is insane. I don't know how many times I've seen it since or if at all. Homicide hits an ace crusher on Trent to the outside through a table. Just a bonker spot. Like I don't know like how they thought it through or why they did it, but it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it kicks ass. And the way they set that up, it just feels like a misdirection at some point in that spot. And it's also just because of the shoddy camera work that they're kind of all over the place. That. But no, the match rocks. There's a lot of dudes rock wrestling going on here. Again, I don't want to keep hammering on the modern day stuff, but like, seeing this is like, oh, how is GCW not doing something more like this? They have
like they could do that. They could do that, but they don't.
Yeah, we have some of an environment that should lean itself to be a little bit more audacious in that way. And we just don't get it. But these two, this is probably their best match from what I've seen now, but they've had plenty of good matches throughout their kind of runs.
Have you seen the match after this in Ring of Honor?
No.
It is, I prefer this match, but if you liked it, it's worth watching. I think it's better than our best, maybe. Don't quote me on that at all, though, because I can't remember these Ring of Honor names. But it's really good too. It has a better finish too.
Yeah, the finish on this one is not super duper.
It's almost so stupid that I like it.
Yes,
like
yes.
I like.
Yeah, and there's.
I was gonna spoil it. It's a roll up.
Yeah, they do so much before that like it's not good, but also I could not care enough to say the match was anything still less than wacky and wild.
And I mean, it's said by a million times. It's said by Kingston on television, but no matter how much praise you give Homicide, it's not enough. I mean, he was so important to early indies.
Yeah, I would say even really like both of these guys were incredibly instrumental to the success of the early independents.
Yeah, I was a big Backseat Boys guy. I always thought that they were going to go on to do, bigger and better things. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons they didn't, but the work we got is good.
Yeah. Honestly, you would wish there could have been more, but gotta take what
Heck,
we
even
get.
them sticking around in GCW today.
Yeah, I mean, like, they would be probably in a similar situation to like a Nate Webb right now. Sense that, like, get plenty of opportunities, plenty of work. Maybe it's not all bangers, but they would be entertaining. That's for sure. Well, that's all we've got for Homicide versus Trent Acid from Wrestle Rave.
Nothing fancy about that, but effective.
Oh,
and
what?
DJZ comes out.
DJZ using the ring apron, spinning and hitting the Rana.
Bodies flying everywhere. Bodies.
Now
on
it's
bodies.
Gringo Loco in the ring. Looking to trying to run up the.
We are moving on to match number 8. It is from AIW's Girls Night Out 17, April 30th, 2016, taking place from Our Lady of Mount Carmel. It is Bandolero and DJ Z versus Gringo Loco and Sky Jr. Dan, why did this match make your Desert Island comp?
Now this is the one that you were most thrown by.
I'm thrown by two things here. One, the match itself. Two, that took place at Girls Night Out 17.
Well, that is part of it. That's part of the thing. The Girls Night Out shows. I mean, I don't know. Don't cancel me, but I've never been a big fan of women's indie wrestling. It's just the level is not usually where I'd like my professional wrestling to be. But I would go to these because they're AIW shows. It's the birthplace of Britt Baker. I think this is around the time where I can't even think of her name. Crap. This is embarrassing. Blazer, MMA fighter, WWE.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, Shayna,
there it is. Sorry, jeez, I'm getting old. Well, she was there, so I mean that was exciting. She was really good, and this match was not announced. And I'm at this show. I'm sitting next to the world famous Juicy Pat Lucy in the front row.
Bless them.
Yes, this is not for me. The show's not for me. It's one of those things. It's almost like when they would go to the student shows where it's like, I'm here because I go to wrestling shows, but I'm not expecting anything. And then I think this is either right before intermission or right back from intermission. They announced this match, and I'm like, what's happening? And I know DJ Z. He's a Cleveland guy. And then I have no idea who Bandolero is. And then Gringo Loco and Sky Jr. come out, and I think I know who Gringo Loco is, but I'm like, is that the guy from the IWRG shows? Like, is that him? Like, that's weird. This is all so weird. And then they have this insane match where they pull out all the stops. Just insane spot after insane spot. And I'm going to say, not only do not all of them work, a lot of them don't work. Gringo Loco almost dies on a spot, it looks like.
Yeah, it's incredible because he also gets a "you fucked up" chant from one individual and one individual only. As this man almost dies on a dive.
Well, the crowd's not great. It's a girls' night out crowd. You're not going to get a good crowd. And but it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had at a pro wrestling show because I was not ready for this. I was not ready for these four guys to pull out all the stops. And DJ Z and Gringo Loco are so fun in the ring together. Like, you can tell they train together, but not in the way where it's like choreographed, because it's all very well done, very stiff. It just works.
Yeah, it is an interesting match. I was not expecting this one because Sky Jr. and Bandolero, I haven't heard from them since pretty much. And to now think where Gringo Loco is, thinking of him as the IWRG guy is not many people's first blush here with him.
Well, I think this match deserves credit for where Gringo Loco is, because they ran this same match. Maybe they might have switched Bandolero out for someone else. I can't remember. on like a regular AIW show because I think they're like, holy cow, like look what we got. And then he became a regular at AIW, and that's basically where he started getting all this indie work.
Yeah, and I when I was looking up this match, there was definitely another promotion that ran this match previously.
There's it's the Lucha promotion out of Chicago, I think. I can't remember what it's called.
Galley or Golly?
Yes, that one. They probably ran it, and they got their 200 views on YouTube if they're lucky. I mean, it's just I'm not sure this one has much more from AIW, but it's on YouTube too, and it's insane. Oh, Bandolero dives into the crowd, lands in my lap. That's got to be part of it.
So this match, I still don't understand why it took place at Girls' Night Out.
I have no idea. I don't have an answer for you, except like I don't know. There was probably another show, like almost certainly another regular AIW show after the Girls' Night Out show, because that's how they would get people to come to Girls' Night Out. And I'm guessing DJZ was on it, and they rode with DJZ, and they just said, "Hey, can we go nuts for 20 minutes?" And John Thorne said, "Yeah, go ahead.
Just have fun with it."
That's the only thing I can think.
Yeah, no, I'm there. I'm with it. I'm for it.
That's part of the memory. I know it doesn't work. Like people are gonna pull it up on YouTube. It probably shouldn't be on anyone else's desert island. But if you're me sitting at, Mount Carmel, kind of bored, kind of probably thinking about whatever the next AIW show is, kind of thinking, what am I gonna have for lunch? Politely clapping for women's wrestling, and then this match comes, and it's just a hoot. It's just so fun.
Yeah, it definitely would be a change of pace for those shows. I've seen those shows. They are not particularly good, I think. Unless you are Shimmer, it is very hard to have a all-women's U.S. indie card and make it, I guess, a success from beginning to end. AEW is not that.
No. I mean, I applaud them trying. They have a lot of these Girls' Night Out shows. They tried.
They gave it a go. No one's giving it a go anymore, which is interesting now that I'm thinking about it. I was like, what's the last independent promotion that is running all women's shows as like not a side attraction, but like its own individual thing? No one's doing it.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting now that I'm thinking about it. Between that and intergender wrestling, things have changed since 2016. Some things are out of favor for whatever that may be. And women's wrestling.
Before we move on,
yeah,
I can't forget. I'm remembering this match. It's also there's no DQ for some reason because Skya Jr. just whips everyone with his belt repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about that? If you're wearing it, you can use it. That's my motto.
You could see the referee like try to enforce rules, but then he realizes like this is just happening.
I am an innocent bystander to what is taking place right now. I am here to count 1, 2, 3, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So respect to him there.
Right back up. Or chop to the chest.
And to staying on his feet.
Slap to the face.
And just kicking away at the head and the chest. What impact!
All right, that brings us to a close on match number 8. Let's get into match number 9. It is Low-Ki versus Kenta from Final Battle 2005. Dan, why did this match make your Desert Island comp?
I could not possibly have a Desert Island comp without Low-Ki. Low-Ki is such a big part of my wrestling fandom. And then I had to narrow down to which Low-Ki match, and that was almost impossible too. There's the obvious Bryan matches, but I already have 2 Bryan matches. And then this match popped in my head, and I remember when this match was happening, how stoked I was. What a big deal it was. I mean, this is a GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship match. That meant a lot to me at that point. I was super in the know, super in the Ring of Honor. I think this is Kenta at like the height of his ass kicking. I think Loki's always been at his height, probably still is today. He's just like an asshole. No one wants to work with him. And this match is spectacular.
No,
It's
looking forward to watching him in House of Glory.
I think he just got announced for some a PCO versus Josh Alexander versus Loki got announced for somewhere.
That doesn't seem real.
I mean, as I said it, I thought maybe I made that up.
Hey, I think you might have. I think
I couldn't remember Shayna Blaze earlier, so like maybe who knows what I'm talking about. But this match is so stiff. They're slapping the crap out of each other. They're both at like their height of their prickiness. Like Kenta's kicks are they're just trying to kill Loki. He does the spot that I love that he does a bunch where he leapfrogs into the ring, but then he just leapfrogs over his opponent and then just like flicks his foot backwards to kick the guy in the face. It just every so often it breaks off into like a little slap contest where they slap each other in the mouth. It works. Like if this was ever going to work for you, this is the match.
And this was the main event of Final Battle, right?
I believe so. Really putting me on the spot. Final Battle over 5. I don't.
We're all Googling now. We're all just searching Final Battle 2005. Final Battle 2005.
They're probably yelling it.
No, everyone's saying yes in their microphone. Yes. Okay. It looks like it did main event, which in itself is interesting. It takes place after the Ring of Honor World Championship match between Danielson and Marufuji.
Okay, yeah.
So you're not the only one that held the GHC Junior Heavyweight title in high esteem.
Yeah, they put it over their own title. That's interesting. I mean, Noah being part of Ring of Honor was so natural, and I mean, those were my two favorite promotions in the world at that point, and there wasn't a close third. Loki and Kenneth were probably two of my favorite wrestlers, and it's amazing. And it's one of Loki's last great matches in Ring of Honor, I think. Because he's so on and off in Ring of Honor. Actually, I think that I was at Loki's last Ring of Honor match. I think he has a match with Jack Evans in Cleveland. Is his last random match because he got in a fight with Gabe about something, I'm sure, and then never came back.
That's how it happens. Everyone's getting in arguments with Gabe, and that's it. You're done. Log off. This is one of those. I mean,
so important to Ring of Honor. It can't be overstated.
It's one of those dream matches that I can't imagine a dream match in 2022. It feels like nothing really captures that essence. This is one of those ones that take place in Ring of Honor on U.S. soil is a different vibe altogether, and it works.
It's also a different world entirely. Like I remember being on the Ring of Honor message board, refreshing the message board to see, because there isn't a Twitter yet, or at least I'm not on it, to see who's winning these matches. You just got some guy, I guess, on his phone calling into his buddy who's on the message board.
Yeah. I think I miss low-key being in prominent positions to have great wrestling matches and to do it in front of a bunch of people. I mean, not a bunch of people, but a captivated audience.
At this point, I'd take him in a non-prominent position. I just wrestle. I just like to see him wrestle.
Just like to see him appear anywhere. I was told that House of Glory was going to see a big influx of cash. They were going to be running a whole lot more. I'm blaming the pandemic for not giving us that. That's the only way we're going to see Loki in more wrestling matches, it feels like.
I know he had that match with Ninja Mac, but that's the last Loki match I can remember getting.
Why? Why did that match happen? Why is that the gift the gods have given us?
I don't know. That's the thing, is that like I feel like Loki matches are so rare and precious now. We should all get to approve the opponent.
Yeah, we should get to create a table, a little club, and make sure that we don't have a killer cross match. That's next up on the docket for Key. Ridiculous.
Oh, God.
Embarrassing. I hate it. But no, this makes sense. You have to have a low-key match. You get another humdinger in here. Ring of Honor. That's going to be our final Ring of Honor match of the comp. There's only one more left.
And the next match kind of pairs with it.
前に向かってきますね。
さあしかしちょっとこの蹴ったのエルボーっていうのは
ものすごい音ですからね。もうこれ
会場中に響き渡っております。
The next match, I'm going to just be blunt with you. It's a match I've never seen.
You would hate it.
I would hate it. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Don't watch this match.
It is from August 17th, 2008. It is Burning versus Kensuke Office. Dan, why this match in a design comp?
This match, like I said, I am a big Noah guy, and I know this isn't Noah, but I mean, Kobashi, Nakajima, Kenta, Sasuke, these guys. Yeah. I think it's technically Kensuke Office or whatever. Who cares? And this is like branching off of the Kobashi Kenta versus Kensuke Nakajima tag match they had that I believe in a draw. So then they do this survival match. Like I said, you would hate it. It's over an hour long. Or it is around an hour. And it starts out with Team Kensuke Office sends out Miyahara, who is a big deal now, but wasn't then, and Okita. And then you expect that Noah's going to send out Aoki, which they do, and then Ito, like they're two lower run guys, but instead they send out Kenta. And so Kenta gets just to be a bully to these two Kensuke Office guys. And it's great. And they have a match, and it works. It's great. I think Aoki submits Miyahara, and then Kensuke himself is like, no, I'm going in there now. And him and Kenta immediately are nose to nose. Aoki tries to get involved, and Kensuke literally just shoves him to the side to continue the stare down. And it's all the Noah excess that you could want. All the chopping you could want. All the kicking you could want. All the stare downs. And I love it. And at this point, a lot of my matches are short. I got to get a long one in there. I'm on a desert island.
Yeah, this is just sounds slightly nightmarish for me, but I get it.
I know enough about what you like in pro wrestling in 2022 that I'm telling you, please don't watch this. Don't do that to yourself.
But it does feel like everyone should have at least one long-ass match for their Desert Island comp. A lot of folks go with a Royal Rumble. Or maybe I had a match that I was thinking of, but then it just left my brain all of a sudden. Maybe a multi-man elimination match. It's all fine.
See, this was tough because actually what I had in this spot for a long time was something from Kobashi's GHC title run, the 2-year run he has. I was like, it's going to be one of those matches. Like, it's going to be the Sasuke match or the Akiyama match, or I'm actually weirdly particular to the Mike Awesome match. And I was like, what do I want? And this match popped in my head, and I was like, this has to be it. This gets Kensa on my list again. Let's get the Kobashi on my list. And there's a time in my life where this was what I wanted in wrestling. Now, if you told me that the equivalent 8 wrestlers in 2022 had this match, I probably would hate it.
Yes. No, I get that. I get. It does seem to cover a lot of bases, especially if you're a Noah fan, which is, you've reiterated once again, that is a big part of your fandom, especially during this time.
Yes.
So this gets a lot of those wrestlers into the mix that maybe you've missed. And it gives you kind of that interpromotional rivalry sort of match as well. So, Millie, you have kind of a couple here in that regard, as far as if you want to consider Key Kenta sort of Ring of Honor versus Noah. Obviously, I don't think the animosity between those promotions was really ratchets that up more than it being just an exciting matchup because of individuals rather than the promotions. But this definitely kind of gives that interpromotional feel of, okay, these are two warring factions of individuals.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else? Is there anything else kind of special that makes this sort of? This is the last match on the list. Anything that really kind of helps pull this all together on your end?
It just, like I said, like clearly my list is. I mean, let's see. Outside of the Liger match, I guess you have a couple later matches, but most of my list is from the 04-08 period where I loved Ring of Honor and I loved Noah. And this is just, I'm on the desert island, probably slowly dying from, starvation and heat. Like, let's just relive the glory days. The glory days where I was freshly out of high school and some of my friends were like, hey, do you want to chip in for a beer run? And I'm like, I can't. That's bottom on Noah. I got Noah.
I got a shipment coming in. I can't be busy. If I don't sign for that package, it just doesn't come. I get it. Cool. There we go. That is all 10 matches. Now we are going to be going into your 3 promos, angles, vignettes, what have you. Starting off, number 1 here. It is the Briscoe Brothers, Terry Funk, Ain't Wear No Mouthpiece. Dan, why is this promo on your design comp?
This is the promo equivalent of their match from earlier. This is the Briscoes. This is actually this is probably one of the last ones. I had a lot of trouble with the 3 extras. 3 extras is very hard. I probably had more trouble thinking of that and narrowing that down than I did the matches. And this is actually not a period where I am that high on Ring of Honor. It's actually when I'm starting to get off of Ring of Honor. But this promo is amazing. From Jay losing his train of thought, through Mark shooting in the background. It's the Briscoes' essence at 100. And now I told you where I live. I live in Appalachia. This is probably 40% of the guys I work with, and I love them all.
Yeah. It is so interesting. The gunshot is really the chef's kiss that ties it all together.
Yes.
It is absolutely 100% a great Jay promo. But then that gunshot from Mark off screen, it really just like, oh, yep, that is them. That is these 2 individuals. They are the hard-working wrestlers. They are the folks that wrestling is a job. It is not maybe their entire life. There is other aspects to them, and it is maintaining the land in some sense. So,
and I was never a Davey Richards, Kyle O'Reilly guy, so I'm already fully Team Briscoes. I want the Briscoes to win. I want their, I guess you would say, their philosophy of professional wrestling to win as well.
Yeah, you didn't need to be convinced that MMA was an evil for wrestling.
Yes.
At least from our reach. All right, moving on to your second promo. It's Dusty Rhodes. The view never changes. Dan, why this promo make your Desert Island comp?
Now, this was tough because I didn't have any WCW on my list. Like, I didn't have any Flair. I didn't have any Dusty Rhodes. I didn't have any of the War Games matches that maybe if the list is 20, the list is 15, I probably do. And so I knew that I needed to get them in on the extras. And I needed to get either Flair or Dusty. And this is just my favorite Dusty promo. I like it more than Hard Times. I think he's perfect in it. I think his delivery is perfect. I wish I had better memory because when he calls Terry Funk a watermelon thieving, egg sucking, maybe son of a gun. I can't remember what comes after that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I didn't have a father growing up, and I assume that if I did, he would have talked to me like Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty has a way with words that no wrestler really has. He is a unique promo that is, he has too many good ones in his repertoire to speak of offhand.
I know for a fact that in elementary school, I said that if you're not, the teacher said something about being a leader. I said, if you're not a leader, you're a walk behind her, and the view never changes. And she thought that was like from a picture, and she loved it. I remember her writing part of it, like not exactly right, but writing it on the board. And I'm just like, yes, you just wrote down Dusty Rhodes. I got you.
You didn't even know. You didn't even know. Got him. All right. Is there anything else you want to go? You snuck on WCW. Is that, and you feel
That's
good
kind of what
about
this was. Is it was like, it felt bad not to have WCW on the list. So here it is.
You feel good about that? You feel good?
I feel good. It feels like it counts.
Feels like it counts. Okay. You know,
Yeah.
as long as you feel like it counts. Doesn't matter if I feel like it counts. All right. Moving on to third promo or angle or whatever you would like to call this. It is emotional. It is the CM Punk AEW return promo. Dan, why did this make your Desert Island comp?
I mean, it's pretty clear from my list what kind of pro wrestling fan I am and how important CM Punk was to me being a pro wrestling fan. He always felt at that time, it sounds corny, like he felt like one of us. Like it felt like we had somebody in there in Ring of Honor and then WWE. And AEW felt like a return of Ring of Honor, if in a way. Even though Ring of Honor never left, technically, it felt like a return of the years that I like wrestling. And then CM Punk coming back felt like the cherry on top. Where like he has the line about he left pro wrestling and whatever date he left, and now he's back. Where that's what it feels like. Where it feels like pro wrestling is back on primetime TV. I have a lot of issues with AEW, and I want to come off like an AEW shill, but what they're doing is important, and I'm so glad it's around.
Yeah, there are certain moments I would never expect from wrestling if it weren't for AEW. CM Punk coming back was not on my bingo card.
I repeatedly said never. I would tell people, like, don't worry about it. It's never happening.
Don't get your hopes up. Not even worth thinking about.
Yeah.
He's done.
I was a huge CM Punk fan, but he's not coming back. And he also wasn't on my list. The Homicide Trent Acid match takes place on Wrestle Rave, which has, I'm sure someone's put it on the Desert Island or someone will, the Wrestle Rave promo where he's becoming a monster to fight the monsters of the world, the promo against Raven. Like, he could talk where everyone in Ring of Honor couldn't. It wasn't like, a lot of people didn't have promo skills, and he did. And he was a big part of Ring of Honor, and now he's back. And he's emotional. The fans are emotional. And if we can't get emotional about wrestling, I don't really understand why we're all doing this for so long.
Yeah, in that sold out building because of him on like weeks' notice.
Most kept secret in the world, you know?
Yes. But when that music hit, it was just like, oh shit, it's happening. It was the worst kept secret in the world, but there's still that level of doubt. Like obviously he's gonna come out, but like, really? Is he? How?
I remember that I was working, and I made it very clear that I was not working during Rampage. That I was pulling it up because I actually watched it on my iPad, and I was like, "This is happening." And then at 9:58, I just whatever time it starts, I just quit. I just walked away. Got the iPad.
You're like, hey, boss man, catch you on the next time.
It's CM Punk.
This ain't gonna happen every day. Let's get to it. Gotta go.
And then it also just works as a piece of pro wrestling. It's so short at the end, but he sets up the Darby match perfectly.
No, yeah, it definitely works as just a pro wrestling bit. Even obviously, I think I really enjoyed the Darby match. So it all kind of, it's a bummer that he's out right now.
Yeah,
but that match versus
they
Mox
built him up
is going to be huge.
Oh, it's going to be gigantic. And that's not a match that I would have thought I'd be pining for. Even if you told me somehow years ago, like AEW's the thing, Moxley's going to go there, Punk will come back, I wouldn't instantly think you got to have them against each other. And now I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the promos.
There was always something that I was thinking that, maybe like the shine is off Mox as he's with Blackpool Combat Club and he's with Bryan Danielson. You know what? Like, okay, maybe he's like, he's second fiddle maybe to Bryan now, even in his own group. I love Bryan, so like, whatever. But then, and obviously both were out, but like being at the Rochester Dynamite and how over Mox was, it was like, oh no, like nothing's been lost here. He is still the guy to these fans. He is the man. And I'm curious how that plays against CM Punk when he comes back again. Just because Mox has that credibility that like the Adam Page, I just think did not, even though he was just as over, I would say. But Mox is Mox, and he looks the part. He's got the credentials. It'll be exciting.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think everything CM Punk has done has been great. I'm a low vote on MJF, and I love that feud. I thought it worked. I thought it was great. The title feud with Page, perfect. It was perfect time for him to become champion. And again, like I said, it just sucks he's injured, and I just can't wait for him to come back. And I was the target audience for his return, and it worked. I'm in a break room in a steel mill, tearing up.
There we go. That's pro wrestling, baby.
Yeah.
There you go. And that is it. That's your Desert Island comp. I think it's pretty clear. Like, there's a lot of love for that 2003 through 2000, and I'll even go 2009 or 2008. You said sort of pro wrestling in the U.S. Indies. You have your kind of de facto Noah match in the Kensuke Office match. You've got the Briscoes just going ape shit on each other. You got a modern lucha classic. Plenty of Cleveland love here. This feels like a very this fits you. I know you said, hey, want to be a little bit original too. Didn't want to pick all the same old ones, but I think it works.
No, it feels very me. I don't want to, I'm from around here, and I spent most of my life in Cleveland. I want people to know there is wrestling around here. It's a very little different. The best match I've seen here is in a Piggly Wiggly parking lot where I saw Tracy Smothers before he passed away. So it's a little different. Yeah, but we got wrestling down here too, but just nothing that I put on my like that.
I'll need to know more. I am deeply invested to see what the scene is like, because that match alone, when it was a long time, it was a while ago now, had to be. Yeah. You've dated it pretty substantially. Would be very curious.
It's just the one that I've seen that sticks in my mind because like I said, Piggly Wiggly parking lot in which they tried to hook up the sound system and turned off the power in the Piggly Wiggly. And it's been the highlight of my pro wrestling since moving down here, for sure.
Well, for most people, it would be.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any closing words before we call it a day? Anything
not really. I am not like a content creator. I don't do stuff. You know what? If you're in Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, go to facebook.com/TESHA Realty and let my sister sell your house or buy a house or something.
That is the best plug we've gotten on this show.
It popped in my head. I don't have anything. Oh,
beautiful.
My sister sells houses. Beautiful. Go buy a house.
Bless your heart. What a good brother.
Yeah. I'm something. I'm going to go hit her with some Jay Briscoe chair shots.
There we go. All right, Dan, thank you for being on. Everyone, thank you for listening. Go follow us at WDKWPN on Twitter. Go leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Subscribe. Go listen to Q&T Follow them on Twitter at QNTR. And that's all. More to come. Excited for some more stuff in the pipeline. But thanks again for listening, and we'll be back next week.